have collections, foreclosures, repossessions, late payments, public records, and inquiries, then this is a video that you want to watch because we're going to get you unstuck so that you know how to dispute past round one. Because everybody knows how to write round one, right? But what happens when the bureaus come back and say it's verified? What are you going to do after that? Well, let's start with how to analyze your credit report so that you know what you can say on that next round. Now, we are starting with collections, and in between each of these disputes, you're going to wait 30 days, okay? So on the left over here, starting with unknown, that's bureaus going down. And then right next to it where it says VOD1, that is going to be the collector disputes going down, all right? So on round one with the bureaus, you can say, this collection is unknown. And again, we were talking about third parties, so this is like medical, utility, stuff like that, car insurance, whatever, okay? And sometimes it may also be apartments. So for the bureaus, you're going to tell them, hey, this is unknown. Put the burden of proof on them. That is their job. It is not your job to do their job for them, okay? For the collectors, you can use validation of debt round one. All right. Now, the next dispute with the bureaus, collector didn't validate. For the collector, it's going to be validation of debt round two. Then you can go over to method of verification on the bureau side. And when I say method of verification, you're not sending a method of verification template letter. No. You are in that very first paragraph asking them how the heck did they validate this debt? Because if they had, they would have the documentation to furnish to you, and then this wouldn't have been a problem. If you had the documentation, I wouldn't be asking this, right? So collector, validation of debt, round three. Now you're going into factual. If it is still on there, now you're going factual, late payments, past due, date last active, date last paid, so on and so forth, right? Those are two totally different rounds. And then of course we have validation of debt round four for the collector. And this goes into the CFPB. So you're going to land on CFPB after you have exhausted your remedies for factual based disputes. Right? Now, let me just put a note there because I'm seeing so many people jumping over to the CFPB when they haven't exhausted the remedies. Nobody is going to take you seriously if you haven't done your job first. Your job is to dispute everything disputable on your credit report before you ever bother them, okay? Unless you're going to go directly over into suing because you have this huge violation or whatever, they're not going to pay attention to you. If you want them to pay attention to you, if you want to get this off your credit report permanently, before you go to the CFPB, make sure that you have all your rounds of disputes, all of your responses or lack thereof, all of the letters that you've sent out, all the violation logs and everything that you need to prove your case. Now, going back to this, let's jump over to charge-offs. So charge-offs are extremely difficult to remove. Whoever said that they're easy is just trying to get you to sign up and buy something, okay? They're not being real. All right, if this were simple and easy, then the conversation would be how much are you trying to remove from your credit report and what you're trying to get, because they'd want a percentage of it on the back end. Like, I don't know, $10,000 to remove 50,000 or 15,000, 20,000 to remove 50,000. And guess what? People would pay that all day. So if it doesn't sound realistic, then it's because it's not. All right, round one, date last active, creditor, 623 dispute. Next round, notice a dispute. On the creditor side, proof. Round three, method of verification, date last paid. Over on the creditor side, bureau reports something else. And then creditor didn't verify in addition to the other factual based disputes that you can be using, right? And then we also have date last active, re-aged, illegal reporting, violations, and now we land down into CFPB. Now, as you can see, all of these end in the CFPB. Notice the word end. They end with the CFPB. All right, let's go and check out public records. All right, so for public records, we only have bureaus to dispute with, all right? So court, date, plaintiff, personal information is missing based on the laws that were passed in 2016 and 2018 method of verification. Does not meet FCRA requirements, illegal reporting, and CFPB. Now, you can go check out my channel. I have a ton of videos, hundreds of them. Plug in the word public record or the phrase, plug in bankruptcy, plug in judgment, plug in tax lien, and you're going to find the video specific to those because there's very specific things that you need to do to remove those types of negative items. And I give you all of the answers. All right, so for late payments, now you do need to understand that there's a difference between removing an account that has late payments and updating an account that has late payments, all right? And you also have to understand that there's a difference in the way that you dispute an account that only has a couple late payments and an account that has late payments that are more than 4 or more than, let's just say 2 years old, okay? So if you want to understand all of those things, then go check out vault.my740.com. But for the purposes of this, we are generally talking about late payments. So first of all, you're going to put the burden of proof on them. I wasn't late, bro. You need to remove these because otherwise you wouldn't have the ability to give me the proof anyways, because the only proof is a bank statement and you're not going to give that to me. The other bureau shows blah, blah, blah. Use the bureaus against each other. They need to be able to prove, again, this comes down to proof. They need to be able to prove that you were or were not late on X date. All right. Now, a lot of people said, and I did see this recently in my comments that, oh, the bureaus don't care what the other bureaus are reporting or blah, blah, blah. But the entire point is, no, they don't care. Right? They don't care. They're competitors. They don't give a crap what the other one is reporting. However, they have a grave responsibility to report accurate information. So they need to care what they are reporting. So if they are not reporting accurately, and you can prove this by showing what the other bureaus are reporting, then it gives you leverage. And leverage is what is going to get negative items removed. That is the point. All right. Proof of delinquency. We just talked about this. Put the burden of proof on them. Go check out Cushman versus TransUnion from 1997. Method of verification, false reporting, because anything that is unverified and continues to report is false reporting. And then CFPB. Now let's go over and check out inquiries. And inquiry is the last one that we are going to look at least for this video. Purpose, FCRA, you do not have a purpose for reporting, okay? And you should go and check out my video on my Removing Inquiries webinar. All right, so we have a couple of different ways to do this, but for the bureaus, it's going to be purpose, FCRA requirements, where's the application, and then you go over to creditor. You dispute it as unknown. On the bureau side, proof of verification. On the furnisher side, requesting application. Bureau side, creditor didn't validate. On the creditor side or furnisher side is going to be proof. On the bureau side is going to be an illegal inquiry. On the creditor side is going to be an illegal inquiry. And then now we're down to CFPB. Now, obviously, I could have gone way into this more advanced. But for the purposes of this, because we're covering multiple negative item types, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. We didn't want to do that because I didn't want to make this a 9 million minute video. All right, so now if you have questions about this, post it down in the comments, but I hope that I give you a bit of fuel that you can use on your next round of disputes, because I'm seeing so many people get stuck when the bureaus come back and verify something as accurate. But you have to ask yourself, how did they verify this as accurate? That is the question, okay? And that is what you should be going after. All right. So if you have questions, like I said, post it down in the comments. If you want to see if I can do a credit sweep for you, because there is no learning curve for me, this is what I do, then use the link at the top of the screen, my740.com, schedule a call with me and I will see if I can help. But otherwise, I have some awesome links in the description. Go check them out, and it's going to help you on your journey to getting results on a higher credit score so that you can go and get that loan, that mortgage, that boat, that new house, that whatever it is that you want. We first have to do this, and that is what I'm here to help you with. All right, so that is it. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great start to your week, and I will see you tomorrow.